Imagine the scene, a busy street in Chiba during the heated campaign for Japan's House of Councillors. A lawmaker steps up to speak to potential voters. Her words are prepared, her message is clear. But according to a stunning indictment by the Chiba Prefectural Police, one critical thing was missing: the legally mandated campaign flag. This is not a minor oversight. This is now a formal legal accusation against Democratic Party for the People lawmaker Junko Okano, an indictment that strikes at the very detailed rulebook governing Japanese elections, the Public Offices Election Act. So let's understand what really happened here and why this is such a serious matter. The accusation is very specific. It alleges that during a campaign speech this summer, Junko Okano failed to use the correct official flag that is required by law for all candidates. This flag is not just a piece of decoration. It is a formal symbol that identifies the speech as an official campaign activity, a way to ensure transparency and fairness in the electoral process. By not displaying it, the prosecution argues, the event may not have been properly distinguished from a private or unofficial gathering, which is a violation of the strict codes designed to level the playing field for all candidates. Now, to appreciate the weight of this, we must look at the Public Offices Election Act itself. This law is famously meticulous. It governs every single aspect of campaigning, from the size of posters to the number of vehicles allowed, and the use of designated flags is a core part of that regulation. These rules exist to prevent confusion, to prevent wealthier candidates from gaining an unfair advantage through sheer volume of unofficial events, and to maintain a clear public record of all campaign efforts. So when the Chiba Prefectural Police move to indict, it signals they believe there is sufficient evidence to prove a willful or negligent breach of this fundamental law. This was not a simple mistake, they are suggesting, but a failure to adhere to the legal framework that every other candidate is bound by. The political fallout is immediate and severe. Junko Okano is a sitting member of the House of Councillors for the Democratic Party for the People, a party that positions itself on principles of transparency and proper governance. This indictment creates a direct contradiction to that image. It hands a powerful weapon to political rivals, and it shakes the trust of voters who expect their representatives to follow the very laws they help create and uphold. The party now faces a difficult internal dilemma. Do they stand by their member while the legal process runs its course, or do they distance themselves to mitigate the reputational damage? The court of public opinion often moves faster than a court of law, and the narrative of a lawmaker accused of breaking election law is deeply damaging. Let's talk about the human and procedural side. How did this even come to light? Typically, these matters are reported by rivals or observed by election administration committees, which then refer the case to the police. The Chiba Prefectural Police would have conducted an investigation, gathering evidence, which likely includes video footage of the event, witness statements, and an analysis of the campaign materials used. That evidence was then presented to prosecutors, who decided an indictment was warranted. This means they see a prosecutable case, a chance of conviction. This is a formal and serious step beyond a simple investigation or caution. The broader context here is the intense scrutiny of Japanese political leadership in recent years, where even perceived ethical lapses can end careers. The public's tolerance for what they see as politicians feeling above the law is very low. This case, regardless of its eventual legal outcome, already paints a picture of carelessness or disregard for procedure that can be fatal in politics. Furthermore, it highlights the incredibly rigid nature of Japanese election campaigning, which some argue is too focused on minutiae at the expense of real political debate. But the law is the law, and its enforcement is meant to be absolute. What happens next? Junko Okano will have to face the legal proceedings. The potential penalties for violating the Public Offices Election Act can include fines, and more critically, the loss of her elected seat. If convicted, she could be disqualified, which would trigger a new election in her constituency. That is the ultimate political stakes here. Her entire career is now on the line based on this one alleged incident involving a campaign flag. Simultaneously, her party will be conducting its own crisis management, assessing whether her continued presence is a liability for their wider goals. In the end, this story is a powerful reminder of how democracies function on a web of rules designed to ensure fairness. The flag is a symbol, but the action of using it correctly is a tangible commitment to those rules. The indictment by the Chiba Prefectural Police against Junko Okano is a message that those rules have consequences when broken. It shows that no detail is too small when it comes to the integrity of an election, and it sets a precedent that will be watched closely by every single politician and campaign worker in Japan. The coming weeks will reveal the strength of the evidence and the political will to weather this storm. But one thing is already clear. In the world of Japanese elections, there is no such thing as a small mistake.